Oh goodness. Not that he couldn't take it. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Not Friday, Friday.
Good.
It's Sip and Chat Friday, December the 18th, 2020. It's our last Friday. Sip and Chat. How y'all feeling?
I'm good.
You good? You good? Let me see who we gonna go to first. She got her shoulders out. We gotta go to the shoulders out because we got snow. She don't have no snow. Camp, how you
I
doing?
know.
How you doing?
All right.
I'm feeling good.
You
I'm
doing
feeling really
good?
good.
You
Yes.
was jiggling your cup. What you got going on in your southern?
It's some sweet strawberry wine. I decided to do it light. No moonshine today.
You sure? Because it look like it's in a moonshine type jar.
It is. It's in a mason jar.
Okay. All
It's
right.
strawberry. Sweet
It's
strawberry
strawberry wine. All right. Miss Payne, how you doing this week?
I'm good. Busy week, but other than that, I'm trying to get into the spirit. Hold on.
We got a visitor this week.
Yes, he's talking to me. Hey, right. He needs some attention.
He said he is letting us know how to get ready for a relationship. His relationship is it's time to go for a walk. Like, pay me some attention.
No, he just want me to scratch his back.
Okay. Oh, we got the little queen in the house.
Oh,
Oh, hi, little queen. How are you? Good. You know, we gotta go ladies first, so I had to come to you since you stepped into the scene. You ready for the holidays, little queen?
Yeah.
I saw your pictures. They are so awesome. So, Daddy Daryl.
Yes. Hey, how are you doing?
How are you?
I'm well. I'm well.
Awesome.
Happy,
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I was going in and out.
happy to be here. Happy to be seen.
I know that's right. Seen and not viewed.
Seen.
And I'm sure your scene is quite loaded. So Dr. Carissa will be joining us a little bit later. So I'm sure she's out and about and in these streets a little safely. So we are having our session, our part 2, talking about are you ready for relationships? But we are going to wrap up this season, and we appreciate those of you who check in with us on whichever channel it is that you connect with us. We're going to talk about the balance of the stages. Are you connected to your partner? Are you following these stages of what it takes to keep your relationship spicy and juicy? And where's the love? Are you engaged? Are you disillusioned as far as what it takes to keep your relationship? Are you wholeheartedly in love with your mate? Who wants to jump in and start this conversation?
Oh, where Cam go?
I guess it's gonna be her.
I was,
You know,
Cam,
right? You want Camp to start the conversation?
Hello.
Camp, you want to start us off? No, you like, I'm trying to stay connected. What you mean start us off?
I was hearing everybody, but I'm just trying to stay connected, trying to hear everybody clearly. Can you say that again, please?
So we was just saying how would you want to start this conversation of in the stages, are you ready for your relationship? How do you check in and make sure you're ready? Are you engaged? Are you disillusioned? Or are you wholeheartedly like connected to your mate? How do you know that?
That's some very interesting questions. I think that a lot of people know answers to these questions. Like, relationships are ending so quickly, divorce is so high. Because I think most of those things.
Oh, wow. Now we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can, yes.
So I think people are not there in a lot of these stages, which lead to people breaking up. They're not there. They're not connected. They're not, I think they're a lot of people are disillusioned. I think they both are in relationships that probably not, and they don't relate to each other. They both are living 2 different relationships, and 2-3 years in, find out that we are not connected. And that's what I see in a lot of relationships.
Correct. I'm like wondering, like, where does the disconnection actually happen? But we could probably come back to that a little bit later after we check in to like where the connection
Ooh.
starts. You said
The
ooh on that one?
disconnection?
Yeah. But no, let's
Yeah.
start with the
When
connection
people start
first.
doing
Let's start with the connection
it. Okay.
first.
I was ready for that one. Oh, when the connection starts, what did Daryl
Yeah.
say?
Well, we didn't really get there yet. So the connection, I believe our connections are very surface. I don't think we really go deep in our beginning connection, and
Mm-hmm.
we love with that very surface level, not really knowing the person with the happy, not credit score with a 420, not knowing, a lot of things about them, and now you love this person, you want to get married, and you don't really know the person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of connections. When I tried a couple on here, is that we need way more communication in the beginning of our relationships to really get to know this person that they were going to fall in love with, life with, things like that. And I'm learning that I have to communicate more about what I, expressing what we say when we mean something. Like, all right, we're dating now. What does that mean? It's very different to different people. When I'm learning, we really have to explain what we mean when we say.
Gotcha.
Do you?
Well, my connection was a little different.
Okay.
My connection was I saw he was a veteran. He had benefits. He had A plus, A grade credit score. But I ain't really care about credit score then. But I do now. But then he had good credit. Still does. What else? It was something else. Credit.
Stability because he was older.
Yeah, he did. He just didn't have a regular job. He actually had a career.
Mm-hmm.
But I ain't really care about that either because he was able to take care of himself. He lived on his own, not at his mama house. He was funny. I didn't like him at first though, but he was funny. But
So,
it was weird. I had a crush on him, but didn't know why because I hated his guts. But he had other stuff.
it wasn't a physical connection. It was more of the other things.
Right. I mean, I felt sparks, but I was about my business. Work, paying bills, school, getting the heck up out of here. Because I lived in both places. I lived in Texas and PA like I do now. So I was back and forth. But that was a physical connection.
Trisha is here on time this week. You gotta give her a shout out.
I mean, she's still about 8 minutes late, but you better. You get better. Okay? We ain't gonna dock you this week.
I'm sorry, Kim. He got on her last week for being late, so I had to, at least try to give her some love.
No, I didn't hear you.
No, I was trying to give Trisha some love because she was here on time, and Daryl had got on her. Yes, and last week Daryl was like, we started 8:00, be here on time, and she was cooking and cleaning.
Yes.
But he's still saying 8 minutes late is too late.
She did. She was cooking and cleaning. Sure.
Next week's her week.
Thank you for listening in, Trisha.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say. I also got the STI report ran before anything popped off on either side. So I knew I was way beyond the surface in the beginning before it could do anything.
So what are you getting all of this information? What gathering?
I got month 2. Month 1, month 2.
Okay.
I really didn't like my time wasted back then. So yeah.
I cooked earlier today. Good job. What's STI?
He said, "What's a STI?"
A sexually transmitted
infection
disease. Infection. Well, yeah, STI is infection, but then it was FTD, STI. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just STD. Okay. All right. So
that means that to your question, Daryl, she did have some kind of spark. Like, remember she said earlier she wasn't sure if it was a spark. She didn't like them, but she made sure to rule it out before it went that far.
I had butterflies.
So I mean,
Yeah, I had butterflies.
Okay. Gotcha. And
That was the emotional connection.
Okay. So,
And some physical, if you're asking.
something what? I'm sorry.
I said some physical, yes.
No, yeah, okay. So, okay, gotcha. All right. And then you did your investigations, and got all your information, and then were able to make one decision. And that makes sense because you have all the information in front of you.
But everybody's not always comfortable with asking those type questions, especially not in a 2-month time frame. If they even allow it to go for 2 months, they trust the word that people say in their connection of dealing with people, and it's like, okay, they, just go with that.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. Like, when do you? I mean, some of the questions you can definitely in the beginning, but when do you start really, I guess, graduating from the surface questions into more, the heavier questions?
And we also got to think about the time difference between when she's talking about connection and relationships now, which I would also, I guess, want to ask Miss Payne about her connection to relationships, because possibly the time frame that you may refer to is around the same time frame that Camp refers to, whereas it would be different than somebody who's dating now. Because we've talked about relationships with people coming out of the pandemic. We've talked about people in long-term commitments. We talked about people in short-term commitments, like different. So it's like we got to think about that when we talk about people being ready for a relationships, that we're also talking about different seasons and different styles of relationships. So people who are married for 5 or more years, 15 or more years, or people who are been dating for 5 or more years, or 2 or more, so it's like, it's different things to be in consideration.
Well, when you said, when do you know you need to ask those questions? I knew I needed to ask those questions. I already had a boyfriend at the time. They knew about each other, but I know those questions needed to be asked when we had been hanging out, maybe just friends, like 3 or 4 weeks. And he's like, I love you. And I'm like, I got like, they're like, what?
That's clingy. That's runaway. That's scary.
I know, but when somebody's ready to settle down and they're older, and you're younger, you're like, what? What are you talking about? Like, what you talking about? Well, it's like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But so my response at the time was, I care about you too, because I did care about him.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Delrico, thanks for joining us this evening.
I didn't feel pressure to say I love you.
Got you. If you don't mean it,
so it depends on where you at. The commitment looks different.
Yeah. People go around these terms.
I gotta take a pause, guys.
Her and the dog. The dog is the boss.
So Camp said, I guess she, from a previous relationship, she learned these questions to ask in the next relationship. Is that what she said?
I think that's what she's trying to communicate. Yes.
Okay. All right. And I mean, like I said, because my question still is like, how do how do we know when to ask these questions? What questions? Sometimes you don't even know what questions to ask.
Right.
Sometimes you don't necessarily have to ask the questions directly. I think it's through conversations, and if you're an observant person, I tend to be very observant. I mean, I'm going to confirm, but leading up to that, I'm very observant. So again, some of their behaviors, some of the discussions will give you the information that you need. I think, at least for me.
I think that goes to my thing is, I rather ask because I don't want to assume, right? That we're
right.
thing when we can kind of pick it out. But at this point, I need to ask to make sure that we're on the same page.
Oh yeah. Well, that was my point. Well, again, eventually I would ask, but it's not going to be within the first month.
Yeah, right.
And they're like too, like you gotta make sure that you're not holding somebody new accountable for what somebody old did. Like, yes, it's a template for you having like a red flag or a post-it note in regards to what you're expecting to even know if you're ready for that relationship. But you gotta be mindful of what it is that you'll tolerate, what you'll accept, but being clear that every person is not that same person that violated you.
Right.
And I also, when you talk about that, it wasn't meant to be a relationship. Let's be clear. I made it clear up from the front that it was going to be like a summer thing. Like, we're going to hang out. And everybody was like, oh, y'all together? No, we're not together. We hanging out. Because nothing was going on. We just friends getting to know each other. And then it was just like, he said, oh, you said you can cook. I said, I can. He was like, well, I'm going to take you to the market. Let's see if you can really cook. So I cooked and it led from there. It was like a summer thing, just hanging out and enjoying each other's time. Because I was like, I was upfront. I said, look, I'm not looking for nothing. I'm moving back. I have another life that's not here. And I said, I'm not going to see you ever again after these 4 months. So that was already like put in play. It wasn't like let's be together. Oh my gosh. But I wasn't looking for that. It just turned into that. Actually, I learned a big lesson from it. I didn't realize I was in love with him until like maybe a month and a half after I left. And then one day it just hit me because I was used to being with him almost every day, like hanging out and stuff. And then, yeah. So, yeah.
So I want to go back to when you said he went to the grocery store to buy something and like for you to actually cook, and thinking about how we fall in love with the representative or the fantasy person that we think that we meet. And it makes me think about, I have a couple friends who did this, that they weren't skilled in the kitchen. And and they would ask the person what they wanted on the date that they allegedly was cooking, and they refer to me as MB. MB, can you cook such and such and such and such? And so I would cook whatever this was that they needed for their date.
In the lie.
The date would go well because the food would be situated the way it needed to be situated. And then one of the dates, the person wanted to cook with them.
Oh, wow.
One of the favorite meals that they wanted. And so I had to be on the phone to walk her through making this particular meal, and he thought that we were just on the phone talking about some old HBCU love type situation, and that was the only way to make it happen. And that was, I mean, we laugh about that to this day, but I think that when the Thanksgiving holiday came and he came over to the house and he was like, wait a minute, I know you invited us over for dinner, but you did all of this? And I was like, yeah, like thinking nothing of it. But that's when the whole card was given up. Like, okay, we know who really been.
Y'all still laughing about it to this day.
We're friends for 30 years at this point. But
men,
I don't have the issue. I can cook well. I've done catering. It's not my issue.
You enabled your friend to promote this lie.
I was supporting her being ready for the relationship. I had to clip her wings. She had to clip her wings at a certain point. And then the people had to learn what they was working with and decide if they was gonna go with the fantasy or go with the limitations at that point.
That's
I've been in that situation, but what I did.
No, wait a minute. We can't see this. We can't believe what women say. She said it was gonna be a summer thing. It ended up way more than that.
It ended up being a lifetime.
See, somebody, Tanya said I was mentoring. I was mentoring her.
That's how I see it too, Mary.
Woo! I mean, you guys are contortionists. Women know how to twist it up, don't they?
Y'all be okay with we contortion in certain places, so why we can't contortion it
in the
now?
Oh.
See, we know
It
who
was
Oh,
you.
but I couldn't get away with having somebody else cook for me because he watched me cook the whole time. Let's be clear.
Got
He watched me cook the stuff the whole
He
time.
watched her cook the whole time too. I just happened to be on the phone saying, "Stir this,
guys are
shake that."
Yeah, do this. Yeah.
You're defending his actions.
Listen, we was 20 somebody then. We a different number. Now.
But that's the start. See, that makes you learn that women are not who they say they are, and now he was hurt after that.
You wasn't a generalization on one event.
You making a generalization for one event. It wasn't my shade. It wasn't my limitation. That's something that she had to be truthful about and say was she ready for the relationship.
You enabled the action. You participated.
I was willing to teach her how to do what she needed to do.
She helped a friend out.
That's what you
I helped a friend learn what she needed to learn.
Well,
friend to tell the truth. Tell me.
Well, I think that was better than getting Chinese chicken wings.
How about that?
Listen, tell them the truth. You can't cook.
So Daryl, you never assisted one of your friends, maybe not in that same.
Oh,
no?
we don't know everything.
Oh Lord.
We finding women just not telling the truth tonight. Y'all telling yourself.
So we got to have the village mentality of building each other up, linking each other side by side, and helping. So in the same regard, we gotta build each other up. If people don't know how to build relationships, we gotta show them how to build a relationship. If the relationship to food and in the kitchen and putting the right seasoning is what you need support in, then let's help you out.
A relationship built on a lie can't exist. It just can't.
It's not built on a lie. I'm building her up so she can clip her wings and be able to do it independently at a certain part.
Oh boy, no.
It's nothing wrong with building up a sister.
That's not what she was doing. She was helping
her.
She was helping her lie to this man, act like she could cook. That's what was going on. It was fraudulent behavior going on.
It was not.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I have a couple of family members who were ready. They were about to get married.
A permanent lesson.
I taught them how to cook too, so they wouldn't. They man wouldn't be eating cardboard.
Look, but
how are we about to change this whole conversation?
Thank you.
I was mentoring somebody in the kitchen.
He's a great diverter.
So why?
Yes.
I just learned some things about people today. We're gonna talk about it. So why, when Thanksgiving came, the dude was like, "Oh, you did it all?" He's like, "Yeah," and he was like, "She didn't do none of it, huh?"
But I was at my house. They came in together as guests to my house. I always cook like that because in my family in Chicago, that's what women did. We cooked for a family of 20, 30, 40 people.
Right. But obviously he thought for whatever reason, he thought she did some of the cooking.
No, he was surprised that
you did
a person who lived independently without a family was able to prepare a meal for 1 million mouths to come to my house and eat.
Okay, got you. I get you. I understand that part now.
You got now?
I got that, but you still help.
I'm the girl from the Midwest city of Chicago, Chi-Town area that know how to burn.
Mm-hmm. And know how to help your friends.
Can I live? My relationship in the kitchen is good.
For the war, guys.
What are we supposed to be talking about? Where the relationship
can't.
Thank you, Tanya. The shade.
Thank you, Camp. Yes.
Too, Tanya. That's what it sound like.
What Tanya sound like?
She lied to a couple men herself. Them comments have a lot of like, I did this before.
Listen, we ain't trying to go Chi-Town fabulous. Let me take a sip of my wine.
So then, Camp told him it wasn't going to really be. It was going to be a summer thing, right? And it ended up being something.
No, but we both was on the same page. You both understood. It just turned into something more.
People can't change their mind.
I'm just saying. I didn't say they can't. trying to listen and find out what happened. There's no time. I just try to get the story.
Miss Payne, he's a diverter.
I mean, you don't want the whole story because I'm horrible. You don't want the whole, no, you don't want the whole story because I was horrible just because I was young and just doing me.
Yup, out there doing you, messing another man up. Goodness gracious. This is how we get messed up. See, women are showing right now how we get messed up because they're just out there doing them and we're trying to give our hearts to them and they just break our hearts. And now we're all broken.
Oh, now
really
our next
really
our next relationship.
Okay, so but you can't tell me you were
really
trying to break hearts.
is that how we gonna close out? Is that now we gonna play the victim role to win why relationships are broken and people don't go to different stages of their role?
This is what happens. You know, you guys just heard us and then, you know, then we take that, we carry that along. We carry that along with us.
Can we finish the conversation?
So are we talking about now why relationships are ruined? Are we there yet or no?
I mean, we must be there. I was trying to stick with the positive on the connection piece.
I want to.
He's coming in with knives and daggers. Oh my goodness.
We're not going to allow him to distract us. The connection part is important. Yeah, the connection part is important.
People connect at the heart.
And sometimes the heart has many different chapters and they have great intentions. And when the intentions have been jaded, I'm saying that don't take the next person and hold them accountable, but be careful on how you enter into those situations and also determine and discern when you ask those questions that you need to ask. Don't be fearful and not asking those questions because it's important to make sure that, you know, you could do that.
It's a red flag if you can't ask those questions. If you can't ask those questions, next.
Amen.
But is the next is really on you and looking in the mirror and taking responsibility for what is it about you to make you that you can't ask those questions? Yes, it may also be about that other person that they're doing something that's triggering you, but what is it that's making you stop?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you're scared of the answers that you already know.
Tuesday, and it's not about the other person, right?
No, right. I'm talking about you. You know certain answers, but you're scared of them that you already know. But asking them, saying something out loud, seeing it on paper versus just thinking it, it brings it to a whole nother realization that you actually have to be accountable and change some things about yourself. You attract what you are,
and you attract what's unresolved. So if you got unresolved childhood situations, you got unresolved past relationships, then you're not ready for a new relationship.
I had all that.
And it's like sometimes people have this one long relationship.
Daryl, did you hear what Camp said?
Has all that?
That she had all of that.
Okay.
Tons of childhood trauma. Date rape, molestation, neglect, verbal abuse, emotional abuse.
Well, again,
it just lines up.
Well, all I was saying is some people will have one long relationship with 3 or 4 different people, but it's the same relationship. They're just carrying that same.
Oh yeah, keep carrying it over. That's good.
Different people in front of them, but they're actually having the same relationship. So they've been 12 years and been with 7 different people. You know, and there's like they're carrying that whatever baggage with them from relationship to relationship, and never really.
She done broke out into Erykah Badu. We talked about this last week though too, like as far as you get in a relationship and you only get into a certain point that when you get triggered and you like, okay, yep, it's time to end this relationship because they, you know, you don't realize you being the consistent person in every situation, but you say all relationships. Well, you're the consistent person that hasn't regulated what needs to change.
Right.
And if you break out like Camp did into the bag lady with the eyes closing and you vibing and stuff like that, like it's doing something for you. What's in them bags you need to throw out and take out before 2020 close out?
Well, I think that people, you know, we got, and it's not taught much, but accountability is a big thing, right? And I think we want to blame. A lot of times you hear in relationships, they're like, well, this person did this and they did this and they did this. They don't really say what they did for the most part. or what part they taken. And for me, I like to focus on me and say, what did I do wrong, or what did I feel I did wrong, or what in my relation, independent of what the other person did, because it takes two. It might be all one person at one point, but again, I think that people don't learn to be accountable for their actions.
You are right.
Yeah, people are. They're get another piece of paper. Yep, exactly. Good job, Tanya.
Oh, another thing. Follow through. People don't follow through.
Can't. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
People don't follow through. They start working on the work, but don't finish it out.
Yes.
Because it's a lot of work.
Well, you know
what?
I think sometimes that you stop working because everything is good, right? When things are good, people don't work on things. I think when they're good, that's the time to work on things. But when they're good, you're like, oh, good. Let me stop and let's enjoy. Let me smell the roses while they're here. And and you lose all the progress you may have had working on something or trying to get something better, fixing things.
Yeah, I think there's something to think about. And then, but when you don't follow through and finish it out, you start all over again.
Absolutely.
And they really should start where they left off, because it's something about where you left off at that you don't really want to deal with. And it's like, okay, what is it that you're avoiding? Because you keep getting to the same part, and then like you act like that chapter in a book need to be taken out, like other books that they take chapters out and act like stuff didn't happen, or other parts of history, and it just don't happen. I'm sorry,
No, we used to say traumatized teachers traumatized teachers teach traumatized kids. So I think people recognize each other. They just don't like to say it out loud, or they don't hold each other accountable, or just kind of like help each other work through it. It don't have to be a relationship. Like that could be a friendship, anything. Mother, daughter, sister, brother.
Your boss.
Right. Boss. They kind of see it in each other, but keep lashing out at each other and not doing anything about it.
And sometimes we're not strong enough to do it on our own, and we need extra help. And I think that there's something else not promoted, especially in the Black and Brown community, is you may need some other extra help, right? You can't do it yourself. You're as smart as you're only as smart as your friends are in your group sometime. And if they're like this group, I know I can get help anytime because they're smart. Outside, not that much help.
Yeah, at 9:00 in the morning or 11:30 at night.
Yeah, but most people don't have the luxury of having just to really help them through their. So you may need to go talk to someone that really can help you. Maybe really go back and fix those issues. One of my clients who had weight, she said she was years, dieting and do this, and it would never work until she went and got some counseling and got to the root of the problem. And once she got to the root of the problem, she was able to shed that weight, stay on, and do what she needed to do to get it done. But she had to let go of that baggage. She didn't realize that was on,
Very true. Very true.
Who likes
what up, Doc?
Hey, party people.
Girl, they've been in here partying.
How y'all doing? I'm sorry I'm late.
Yo, they've been in here singing Erykah Badu and grooving with the eyes closed, talking about Bag Lady.
Okay. Oh my
They've been acting up since you was away. And Daryl tried to take us into a whole nother segment and show.
No. You guys, I just called you on what you said happened. They were telling how women like to help lie to men. Get them.
That's not what was said, Doc.
Hey, watch the replay. I'm telling you. That's what
we was talking about how the village helps other people in the village sometimes in their representation. Why you gotta look at me like that?
Because I'm listening.
Sometimes in the village, you help people build their relationships in the places that they're deficient by mentoring them in the ways that they need to grow better. And sometimes that might be in the kitchen,
while they're lying to someone saying they can do something they can't do.
Cook. Cook.
She couldn't even boil water. Broccoli.
She couldn't cook what he wanted.
What's the ingredients?
But her friend knew how to cook what he wanted.
So y'all had a threesome. He doesn't know about it.
We didn't have no threesome.
It was you two and him. He doesn't know about you.
In the kitchen.
So how was cooking defined? Was it just throw some stuff in the microwave?
No.
I
I cooked a full meal for a couple dates and was presented on the plate for her to show that she had prepared this meal. And then he said he wanted to cook something together. And she didn't know how to make that together. So I had to be on the phone that he thought we was talking old HBCU stories when I was actually telling her to stir and shake.
Pepper. Add the pepper. Yeah.
Okay.
Look at this.
Huh.
Are we? So they lied to this man to get him. They said wait till a man through his stomach. She lied to this man to get him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lying going on in the beginning of the relationship. The point is, Mary, where are they now?
Not together. They're raising a child.
Okay.
He asked her to cook something. He asked her to cook something when Mary wasn't available.
It don't taste the same as what you made the other day.
My guess is he probably knew that she was lying anyway. That's why he said, let's do this together.
That is not the reason why they are not together. There is some infections on his behalf that have nothing to do with her.
So he ate at somebody else's house that could really cook.
A couple times he ate some groceries that was not her groceries.
That's why nobody was hungry.
Yeah, he
ate some groceries that was not her groceries.
He was hungry. When you can't eat at home, you got to go out and eat.
Her groceries was available.
Men are typically greedy.
They always want a specialty delicacy.
But you know what? Things like that kind of can mess with the trust right from the beginning.
Right.
Thank you, Doc. That's what I said.
And she is a follower of Relationship Flow, so she'll remember the story, but it's all good.
It's okay.
She's a friend of 30 years, so it's all fine.
Huh? And when you're talking about trust and respect, these things, that was all going from the rip.
We was not talking about trust and stuff like that.
I'm saying,
just catch the beginning of the show. We caught you up, okay? We were talking about village bringing and communication and fantasy and false representation.
And we see false representation, don't we? We see it right.
We were trying to talk about how you build your connection, and you know, our deflector of our panel always takes us off what the conversation is, and we never got through the whole how we connect people. And he was trying to take us to how we get disconnected real quick.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
So I will say, you talking about how you get connected. You have to have something in common, right?
Yeah, like cooking, right?
But everybody can't cook, no matter if it's somebody helping you or not.
Okay. All right. Right.
So
some people mess up the
stove, oven, microwave, deep fryer, toaster oven, outside on the grill, the griddle. You gotta be, versatile.
Or there's Uber Eats and there is certain restaurants that you can have delivered in.
So, like I said, we can order out, or we can learn.
Or you could be honest and say, "This is not my gift."
Yes, that's all. Just be honest at the beginning and not lie.
Just order some hood Chinese and be done.
Listen, we'll wait fried rice. Let's get it.
All right, so back to the stages of accountability. Miss Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you help bring us back? You think that we brought Doc up to date with where we are?
I'm so confused.
Don't be confused. See, that's what he tried to do. He tried to confuse folks.
I am so confused because I thought women. And now
I have PTSD. I mean, his whole behavior is just like, okay, all right.
I'm sorry. The truth bothers you. I apologize.
It's not the truth. It's the manipulation.
I feel like gaslighting.
You're right. It was wrong for me to question someone cooking for somebody else to get a man. I apologize. It was the man's fault.
It was mentoring.
It wasn't so much that. It's just that we were, talking about accountability.
But nobody's being accountable. We're hearing excuses for why.
You're right. You're right.
There you go.
He likes hearing when we say he's right and we're wrong, and we're sorry.
It's not about right or wrong. It's just about getting along.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
What are you drinking tonight? Are you drinking tonight?
I'm not. I didn't get a chance.
You probably should be.
Before I wanted to hurry up and get on. But give me a sec.
You might need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might need to.
Okay, so we're still talking about connection.
Yeah,
and
trying
relationships and communication and all this good stuff. Then you do need to have something in common. I think that helps. We bonded over sports and food. So yeah, and the love of live music. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Say that again.
I said we bonded over sports, food, and live music.
Okay.
What was that thing?
That was their connection.
Forks, food, and what else?
Live music.
Okay.
Okay.
Got you.
Okay. Okay. So, what's something else that people could connect on?
Having kids.
Whoa! Whoa!
I don't know.
There's a bond forever.
A love for God. A love for life.
A love for life.
Love for life.
Yes. Maybe sports.
Yeah, activities.
Playing a sport like that, or just maybe adventurous. Like
what's the topic?
Like, what's the things that people connect on?
Okay.
Being late.
Dancing.
Dancing is definitely one.
Yes. There it is.
Traveling.
Traveling is definitely one.
But sometimes that can be a problem if maybe one person can and another person can't.
True.
If they can't for whatever reason, either they can't afford it or maybe their job. And some people like to move, shake, and pop. Another person's like, well, I can't really go. That being an issue in some
issue later.
Yeah.
Well, the question you should ask: do you have flexibility in your job or in your life?
Yeah.
If you don't have the flexibility, then I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah.
And that's how you figure out that compatibility and attraction that you may have with somebody. Like, can you work a 4-day work week like during the summer so that we could take long weekends to do X, Y, and Z?
Or if the person can't, it shouldn't be a deal breaker if they don't mind you traveling with other people.
But then why be with them if I can't take the person with? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you've been with somebody for 6-7 years, do they need to go on every vacation with you?
We're talking about in the beginning, right? So in the beginning, if I like to travel, I would like to travel with you. Right? If I can't, and I'm a person who likes to travel, that could be a problem down the road. Right?
That could be, but do I have to go with you every single time?
No, but I would like to take you sometime.
Okay. Right.
I shouldn't be with my friends because at that point I'm having fun without you and memories without you, and I'm coming back and tell you about all the fun I had, but I'm not having it with you, so we can't really talk about it. I can tell you what I did, but it's nothing we can bond over.
Okay. That's fair.
Or it could also build insecurities and things that's making me feel uncomfortable because now you're having so much fun without me. What's my purpose?
And they can start resenting you.
That's a red flag to break up. Like, come on, man. Really?
I think it's good to try to
I can't hold my friends.
No.
Right.
We're saying that.
Right. That's different.
Go with you. If I like to travel and I'm with you to be with you, and hopefully we can travel together. But if we really can't do that and you're going away a lot because you have a more flexible job, that to me could be a problem because we're just not we're not spending that time together, right? It's not saying every time.
Right.
Friends, but I would like to go with you. Like I said, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, yes. But it shouldn't be a deal breaker.
Well, eventually,
every time.
So, well,
see, I think this also takes us back to what was said earlier, is that it depends on the type of relationships that we're talking about. Because if you have been either committed in a relationship for a long time, and say you get this new job that allows you to travel, and can my partner travel with me? Or have you been dating for a long time, and and whatever is long to you, like 3 to 5 years or whatever, and now all of a sudden your job gets a promotion that requires you to travel. Can you meet me on the weekend, at this fascinating location, or, do your work virtual, whatever. You can be creative, but it all depends on the stage of your relationship on why traveling will become a barrier as opposed to a gift to your relationship.
And again, it's how you come into it. Like if I come into it, like, look, I really like to travel. This is okay. You travel. If you guys kind of agree to travel again, and then it doesn't happen, then it becomes a problem, right? So I think this is where the communication part, and we can talk about what we. Thank you very much, Trisha. What we and what we want from a partner. We have to really be kind of clear and concise about what we want from the person we're with, so that down the road we don't get into this where we're 7 months down or 7 years into a relationship, and I'm really upset you can't travel with me. You know what I mean? We have to kind of lay out what we want in our relationship.
Mm-hmm. So if you're vibing with someone, I'm gonna just throw this out there, and you really like that person, and they really like you, and you like to travel, and they're scared to fly, is that a deal breaker? It's like, is the relationship not going to happen?
Probably yes.
Okay.
I can I can like somebody who likes to fly too. I think we're going to try to get what we want as close as we can. And if that's something that's important to me, traveling, well, I can't. I'm not at the point to be a therapist for you to help you through that. Sometimes, I don't know how much over tomorrow, so I got to, there are certain non-negotiables. If I like to travel, then you have to travel.
But there's other ways.
But everybody doesn't travel on the plane. Yeah,
you could take the train, drive.
Listen, I hear
it depends on where you're going.
It depends where you are and what. We already said you got to tell people what you're willing to accept, right?
Yes. Right. Yes. Yeah.
That 18-day train ride over a 2-3 flight. Then guess what, honey? I'm sorry, it didn't work out.
Okay.
You can't take the train.
Sorry, it didn't work out. Yeah. Maybe I'll meet you soon.
I'm sorry, that's funny. But I will say, if you don't want to travel overseas or something, okay, we can take a weekend trip to Lancaster County. We could go to York, PA. We can go to I'm just saying, we could do little day trips or weekend trips.
I need white sand and blue water.
So that's a deal breaker for you then.
AC not gonna work for you.
Not gonna work.
I'm not saying I'm just saying as an example.
No, but see, I think then we're starting to settle for things that we really
so
don't.
South Carolina could work for you. They got white sand.
Huh?
South Carolina has white sand.
White sand.
Huh? What's that? No,
South Carolina has white sand.
I heard you, but we're gonna travel.
Miami has white sand. It's a long way to drive, but you can drive.
I take because we didn't miss half the trip on the drive up and the drive back.
But you spent quality time together.
Yeah, I'm mad.
But you said you want that time and those memories.
Exactly.
What is it? 20 hours in the car? That's a lot of memories.
That's a lot
or
of good
even
memories.
on the train ride, you could stop and do historical stops.
I want to make sure my time, I'm using it wisely. Driving 18 hours is not using it wisely. Okay. Again, and it's not.
So it's conditional.
So now, what I'm hearing at one point is that we should talk to people about what we want, right? Not try to
don't settle. Don't settle.
Or should we say, you know what? This is not. I like you, but I don't like you enough to say I'm gonna try to go forth with this because this is a barrier for me.
Okay, exactly. That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm gonna say that if I know this is gonna be I don't want to, again, that's that thorn that we're ignoring. I don't want to ignore it if it's going to be a major problem to me. That's if it's a non-negotiable. Like again, if it's me and I love to travel and I like to go all over, I want to get on the plane. Yes. Don't want to, then that's going to be a problem. I should not try to fix if I know.
Yes, I agree. That's why I was asking about it and going a little deeper, because these are about deal breakers.
Yes.
You need to know what they are so that they do not become a problem later on down the line. If a deal breaker is someone that doesn't travel, you know this first, second date in.
Yep.
So you're not wasting people's time.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And that's when we got to be able to say, you know what, she's pretty, and but this may be a problem later. And because a lot of times people will try to go around things and these deal breaks, like, well, maybe it's not a big of a deal. And then, like I said, 7 8 years down the road, you mad because you only went to AC or North Carolina.
South Carolina.
Or South Carolina for the last upset. You know, and you don't need that. So we need to try to really, like I said, talk to people and know what our limits are, know what we can accept and what we can't.
I agree, Dara. I understand completely. I can't date ever a person who smokes. That's just a deal breaker for me.
Absolutely.
You know, you can go. Well, I can go outside. You can go outside and stay outside, but you. Tobacco lips.
Still smell like smoke.
Exactly.
The jacket smell like
I can definitely relate.
Yeah.
There's just certain things that may seem petty, incidental, but
a lot of times though, people have deal breakers and they don't know them until they're crossed.
True.
Because they haven't taken the time to sit down and think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe it just hasn't come up before. Maybe it really hasn't come up before, and once it comes up, you realize I just can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like people accidentally moving in your house.
What happened?
When people accidentally move in and be like, "Oh, we together."
How that happen?
Accidentally.
How does that happen?
No, you know how.
Oh no, you need your internet to work. You need your internet to work. You can't be going in and out.
Yeah. What happened?
Can't.
How you accidentally move in? You can't come without me knowing and get in.
I know, exactly. But people, they start, women start leaving. Guys, they leave a hair curler, they leave a toothbrush. I'll get that when I return. By the time you get over, that's when move in.
You take that with you when you leave. You take it with you.
You left your bag. Hold on.
You put that all in a Ziploc bag on their next visit to make
While
sure.
the car pulling off. Hey, you forgot something.
Not the next visit, that visit.
Or it's going in the trash.
Hey, this yours?
That's on the trash.
Hey, Jaja.
Oh, Jaja. What time is it? You done missed the whole show.
It's 8:50 Eastern time.
Make sure you watch the replay.
You gotta watch the replay.
Yeah, she missed everything.
It's a he.
He
I'm just letting you know, it's another 30-year friend. It's a he. HBCU love,
Sending it to you.
It's tough times out here, Ja.
But I guess some people could be really passive like that, where they just kind of let stuff happen around them.
Yeah. They are the most unhappy people.
I was going to say, those are the ones that go into those 20, 30-year marriages unfulfilled and realize this isn't working for me, or even longer, 50, 60 years, and then decide they want a divorce, claim that they were never happy.
Your life
lasted that long.
Or sometimes not even one divorce, is complaining about the same, complaining about the whole everybody.
Yeah.
And
but a lot of times some people know before they walk down the aisle.
Oh yeah.
Right, but they be real situational on how they even get to the aisle.
Ouch.
Wow.
Ouch.
Whoa, you
That's true.
Guns, huh? Hey.
Ouch.
Sorry.
What was that, Mary? What you said?
I said they be situational on how they even get to the aisle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we see it all the time, right?
Yeah.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk about stages of relationships. Is it okay to need to renew your license of a marriage?
That's another hour.
That is not another hour.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, like I kind of,
We didn't even hit 1 hour, April. You talking about another hour?
It's 5 minutes of. That's another hour. But we can talk about it.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, so I kind of expressed earlier that I don't. The license part is the problem for me. That's more of a man-made thing, right? And for me, marriage is more of a spiritual thing. You know, connection to God and my partner. You know, so we can't. No, we would. A license is just, you know, Steve get whatever taxes. They make it more business. So I don't really. I feel like
You breaking up, Daryl. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
He making you go like this to the screen, like what?
See, you got to divert later, not earlier. So
Let me Verizon right now and let them know that my internet messing up. No, I just think that a license is more for is man-made. For me, a marriage. God, you know,
Some people say marriage is a business.
it is.
they're making it
It's a business contract.
They make it a business by having a license, those type of things. That definitely is more of a business. It's the more spirituality out of it and said, look, you need this to get married. Why do you need a license to get married? How can you tell me I need this to marry the person I want to be with?
Right.
Made it a business right there. That's where government, whoever you want to call, took love out of it and made it something that you got to go sign up for. Like that to me is crazy.
All right, so I'm sorry. Somebody going to say something?
You.
No, I was listening.
So if we cancel this out, right? Not cancel it all the way out, but if we go back to the stages, and if we was to add a stage of renewal into the process of how it is that we're ready for a relationship, where would renewal fit?
I think after the commitment stage.
Okay.
Yeah, once you've committed and you've been in it for a minute, I think sometimes it's good to go back and take stock and see if this is still working the way we planned.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also different levels of commitment.
There are.
So I would have to look at that too, because a renewal depends on the commitment. So that depends if I need to go back and take stock. I don't know. That's how I guess I look at it. What's the level of commitment?
So it
in a marriage?
In whatever your committed relationship is, because whatever title you want to put into.
Okay, I thought we was talking about marriage.
That's why I said cancel that the way that it's written.
Yeah,
and you're thinking about your relationship, whatever type of relationship you have.
I was talking about a marriage.
Okay.
Well, you would. That makes sense.
I'm talking about marriage, but got it. There are different levels of commitment in marriage because depending, like she said, what do we get married for?
Right.
For this marriage, right? Everybody doesn't get married because they met the love of their life. They might have met the bank of their life, right? So what they're in it for, the commitment will be different because some people might be committed what this person can give them. You know, to the trips that are going on or to access they have to certain things.
Some of them trips be good. Psych, I'm joking.
Out, then.
But I think it's the same level of a commitment because you're in it to get whether it's money, love, time. You're in it to get whatever you want to get until you can't get it anymore.
That's real. But I guess, again, you can hit. You're in the stocks or you lose money. You can do that a lot faster than you can lose that a lot faster than maybe the love you have for another person. Because once that money's going based on money, what else do you have? Right? If really love each other and care for each other, and we have a bad storm and we have to live in a box. Well, we may be able to do that together because we do care about it, right? So that commitment might be a little stronger based on something more than something that is,
I mean, I think sometimes the commitment of love is just as fragile, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. But even like, okay, so if you have a decision that has been discussed, and hopefully it's been discussed, that you make the mutual sacrifice or understanding that we're going to have to live in a box type mindset for this long-term goal. We agree on whatever that is because we're going to sacrifice on it. And it gets a little rocky in this box type mindset because some things are not going in the time frame that we discussed. You got to still remain in your open communication to talk about how things are changing along that time frame. Because if you don't, then it's going to become stressful,
of course,
to the relationship.
Yes, and resentment starts building.
Right.
Well, I think it has to be like we'll have to have some type of check-ins on a more regular basis, and then we should do a way to check on our partner. Is there anything, whatever, we should be doing that. But I think sometimes life gets in the way of that, and before we looked up, we haven't talked in 3 or 4 months working.
Or you have a person who's in an avoidance stage where you can't talk about that long-term goal because they know they're not meeting, they not rising to the occasion. So every time you bring it up, it's like
right.
So why would they feel that they couldn't talk to you? Like, I would want to know that if I wasn't meeting expectations or I couldn't hold my end, that still.
But you're thinking about Daryl. You're thinking like Daryl. Other people, everybody doesn't think like Daryl.
Exactly.
I don't mean that offensively. You're thinking rationally.
That was funny.
Well, for me,
I'll answer that, Daryl, just based on what I hear a lot, is that if you avoid something for long enough, your partner will stop talking about it and leave you alone.
Right.
Yeah, but if you alone, is that gonna make it better?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, but it doesn't cause the same kind of conflict or anxiety that you're trying to avoid right now while you're not doing what you said you were going to do.
Yes. Right. And I end up insulating and feeling internal about it. And I just don't talk about it.
Yeah, but eventually that's going to come home to roost, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
it will. Yeah.
I'm saying at the end of the day, why does that, like, how did it get there, right? How did it get to the point where this person just feels like I can't come to you when I'm down? Like, how did that happen?
Over time.
Something that happened before.
Your actions, your behavior, your response, your reaction, your lack of accountability, your like everything.
So this was a red flag you missed in the beginning.
And you not realizing that you're actually moving into the stages of your relationship falling apart.
Correct.
Because you can't even see that. It's like
you got the blinders of this optimal goal that you're still working towards, but you're unable to say, okay, let's come back to the table and re-script this. Like, let's look at this from a different vantage point. Let's consider the things that we didn't think about that we now know because we're in it, that we need to consider. And now that we know these things, how can we support it differently? And do I have your trust and commitment to continue to go through it another 3 months, another 6 months, another whatever? That's the conversation that people forget. They be like, well, I talked to you about it, in the beginning. Well, we need to keep coming back to it because it's still interrupting our connection and our commitment to each other.
And if every time you bringing it up, or every time the person brings it up and the other person rolling their eyes and huffing and puffing and I told you before, and
I got it in my head. It's okay, but it's something, creator unfortunate that happens to you. I don't know what to do to support the family to make sure that we're okay because you holding everything in your own personal Rolodex and your own personal elevator, and now I don't know what the activated plan is that only you knew.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And unfortunately, that morphs a lot of times into you not talking about other important things,
Mm.
because it's like, well, I can't talk about that. Maybe I shouldn't bring this up either. You know, and that's
So
where it just starts breaking down, and it keeps breaking down because now you're confiding in other people. I'm working with a couple now who
me
this
too.
is what happened to them, where she really thought that she could not share things with him because of his reactions and because of the things he would say when she did. And she started confiding in a coworker, which and it developed into an emotional affair. And
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you know, this is actually a one of my. This is a good couple that I'm working with because he is like on it. Like I understand where I went wrong. I'm ready to change the way I respond to her, and you know, and he's putting it out there, and she's slow to warm, and you know, she's like, you know, she asked for a separation. They separated for yeah, they separated for a while, and she's like, I can't trust that I can talk to you, but they're on a really good path right now because
Good.
because he
That's
was
good.
willing to see where what part he played in that. Not just she want to talk to somebody else and it's all her fault.
And she has it
Right.
figured out, so that's good.
Yeah.
And I equally have a couple that's the same
Yeah.
type narrative that he has, like she was the one that was managing everything and is the organized A through Z person, and he's the spontaneous person. And will solo spontaneous, but he has the script to all these things, and she doesn't know all of the plays to the plan.
Mm.
And she's like, okay, you got all these plays, and I need to know what's going on because yes, you trying to make sure that we okay in the long run, but right now, one, we need your presence in the family because we got younger kids and we got a 20-year-old, but we need your presence and commitment because it's been so long for you to excel in your career that you haven't been together. You haven't been present, that we physically need you emotionally and everything. He's like, but you got access to everything. So it's not like they got his account, her account, and then the house account. It's the one account, but she don't know the whole blueprint because it's
Right.
all the Rolodex in his head. And I'm sharing the age, like it's the Rolodex in the head. And he's like,
Yeah.
but I could just write it on a thing. I said, well, do you think that in the family meetings that you could share a visual like on a piece of paper? He's like, that's too much work.
Yeah, but that's crazy. If something happens to him, then it all goes away, right? Because it's in his head.
Because
Right.
it's in his head. And trying to get him to understand that is
And that happens more than you know. For women more so than men. Where the man something happens to the man and she knows nothing, not even how to operate the television.
Mm.
Nope. And he done paid all the bills for 20,
Yeah,
30 years.
yeah,
And
like
then she like, I don't even know how to write a check or pay a bill.
Yes.
he picked.
Yep.
more than you know. And then on the flip side of that, another couple is like, they want to learn how to. So we go to communication on so many different angles, and people think that communication is just talk, and it's so much more than talk. So when you say, "Are you ready for a relationship?" Is your communication toolkit really handling all angles? Because in this particular couple, they talk, but their talk escalates into a disagreement, and it's not because it don't even have to. They went through a sequence by her both sides of the situation and say they listed 15 things. When they got to the third thing on both sides of their story, it was really the third thing is where they could have stopped and not really been in an argument. And it came to the fact that women multitask, had a whole list of a whole bunch of stuff that was going on. He can only process one thing at a time. And I'm not being gender biased. It's what he said. I
Mhm.
asked him how many things is too many things when he can't process. And he said, I want to be a successful husband. I want to be able to respond and be attentive to respond to everything that she's saying. But she begins to add on and add on and add on. So I said, what's the fair number of how many things she can share in a conversation before it's too much? He said one thing. He said, can she just give me one thing and we resolve that? Because when she gives me more than that, I get all worked up. And yes, I'm ready to fight after that.
Mm-hmm.
That's understandable.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes.
So are they ready?
And I don't think it's.
They possibly could be, but they need to deal with that one thing. She like, I got my whole paper is filled. You get it. I need you to remote control and be quiet.
Definitely. Communication styles can definitely be worked on in relationships. It doesn't have to be a cause for breakup.
No.
You know, it just takes each person being willing to do something different.
Yes. Step out of their own box.
Mm-hmm.
How about Doc? They sent me a recording of the conversation, so like a reenactment. Oh God.
Fun.
Yeah, that was fun. It was helpful too, but it was fun because it was like I was able to hear how like a general conversation just really just volcanoed in a matter of 30 minutes. And it was extra. It was helpful, but it was extra for no reason. Yeah, so extra. So like communication really plays a lot. And you really need to know your partner and what it is that their capacity is on where your breakdowns happen. Even in the communication, Daryl, you posted in the group. What did you post? It was something I hadn't
Which
answered.
one about women apologizing?
Yeah. Yeah, about women apologizing. And him and April was in an exchange.
Oh Lord.
And it reminded me of this couple, the later couple that I was mentioning, that if they were in session, and not saying that you guys were in a session, but if you guys were in session, I would have paused at the point of she was adamant that she had already apologized. And he was adamant that he didn't hear the apology. But she was standing her ground. Wait, no.
What happened? No. What I said was,
can I say it my way?
It always has something to do with men. That's what I kept saying. She kept putting men in it. I just said say an apology and don't say anything about men. That's what I said.
I'm listening, Mary.
I'm gonna use my scenario then. I'm gonna just use my scenario. I'm gonna personalize the scenario.
No.
Sometimes one of the ways
bring it to the table.
Breaks down is that your partner is saying that they didn't hear the apology, but you want to stand your ground on. But I said the apology. Just because you didn't hear it, don't mean that I didn't say it. All you got to do is say the apology again, but you want to stand in your stance of I said it, and if you ain't hear it, oh well, I ain't saying it again, and then you go in this back and back. I can just imagine the neck rolling and the hands flying and everything like that, and all the partner is saying is, "Can I get the apology?" But you don't want to give it to them because you feel like that's going so extra and doing it again. But it's like that's where the communication breakdown is.
Mm-hmm. Right. If you meant it, what's the harm in saying it again?
Right.
Ego.
The exception is
when it goes left.
It wasn't a verbal conversation. It wasn't.
It wasn't. And I'm just telling you the scenario how I pull from that.
Right. But you know, if you look at the script and you go back, you will see where the apology was exchanged. That was my point. I'm not feeding into egos. I said I was sorry.
That's exactly how I heard it. Like I said, I was sorry.
Yeah, did it sound like sorry or not? I said, accept my apology.
No, I didn't say all of that. I'm just saying I said it. You didn't hear it because you were focused on something else.
No. I heard it. What I didn't.
You didn't accept it.
No, I heard it.
Okay.
Have an apology that say, but men do something. Your apology. but men do it more. And I was going to say, that's all you got to do, and we're good. But it come back to what men, and I'm like, I don't understand why. That was part of the apology.
And for those of you who are not viewing within the group of Relationship Flow, Dr. Carissa and I have a group called Relationship Flow, which is talking about variety of different relationship concerns, as we do every Friday here at 8:00. And you are welcome to join our community and have these lively conversations that we do on Friday Sip and Chat all week long, all day long.
Why are you not? I don't know why you're not there. I don't know. Why are you not? To get down to log on so we can talk. I got some comments for all of you. Whatever you do.
And he is so telling the truth. He has a comment for everybody.
Yes.
We are so happy to have your energy in the place.
Yes. So as we're talking about stages, and because we're still talking about stages, right?
Allegedly,
I know, I can't tell.
My GPS rerouting.
I mean, but it is still stages. It is still communication is still a stage in the process of sustaining. Are you ready for a relationship? Communication is really the thread on maintaining it healthily.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
No matter what flavor, what outfit you put on it, what hat, what glasses, what workout gear, whatever it is, it's communication.
Mm-hmm. So how do you check your communication skills? How do you know if you're a good communicator or not?
That's a good question. That's a great question.
That is.
What's your strategy plan?
Where do you practice communicating at and getting feedback on? Where? That's a great question.
And how were you taught? How about that?
Absolutely. Are you definitely communicating? Yes.
Because how you were taught, like if we go to the disclosure that was shared earlier, that plays a part as far as whatever your childhood. If you were stained in childhood, then it's going to be stained in your adult connection until you deal with that.
Which is one of the things I talk about with parents about not allowing their children to speak their minds. I know Black families, they don't want to hear that. But there are ways to cultivate your children and teach them how to speak up for themselves in a respectful way.
Yes.
You don't want to just stifle them to the point where they can't advocate for themselves, especially when it comes to authority figures.
Right.
And that's what I see happen a lot. Because you're teaching your kids, don't talk to me like that, or don't voice your opinion on certain things because you're a kid. And it can really backfire on your children.
Yes.
When you say don't, I'm gonna just take that little bitty bit. When you say don't express your opinion, you tell them that. They buy into that because you've taught them that.
Of course.
When it comes to them working as an adult, and then you want them to negotiate their pay salary, you want them to be able to speak to their boss or advocate for whatever's going on at work, you've already told them that they don't have permission to do that. And now you're like, well, what you mean you don't know how to do that? You've taught them already that they don't have permission to speak up for themselves. And now you expect them to have the skills to just turn what you've downloaded into them all these years to turn that off.
Yes.
So it's very tough, right? Because and I tell my daughter too that she can advocate for herself, but you don't ever raise your voice, you don't ever go back and the teacher. If you feel like something's wrong, you say, look, I was wrong.
Yes.
If the teacher says something more to you, sit down and you let me know about it. I said, I don't want you ever going back and forth with a teacher because that's still a person in charge.
Yes.
Right.
That person. So if you were wrong, you could say, look, I felt wrong, but no yelling or being rude or anything like that. And, that's conversations we have. But, I feel like she can speak up for us. I want her to have, I don't want to ever stifle her voice, but I always be one of an adult and try to out talk or over grown authority. That's what I do with her, you know.
Yes. And we have to teach our children conflict resolution skills for communicating with their peers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's weird because she got a friend right now that is a little bit, we'll say, just a little more rambunctious class. I mean, but and you know, her mom was talking about, you know, she shouldn't be friends with this little girl, and I said, no, that's not the answer. I said, what? I just teach her, look, if the little girl wants to do something that you know is wrong, let her do it. That's fine. She can do it. I don't want you participating in it, right? You have to say, I'm not going to do that and keep myself away from it. I don't want to take her out of the situation, right? So I try to give her the room to talk about it, like, that was wrong, that happened, you know, try not to follow it, right? And that's how we're dealing with that. So far, it's okay. It's only a couple of trips.
But these are all the kinds of, you know, these are the skills that you take into your relationships. You know, conflict resolution, problem solving, teamwork.
How about
That's
that?
a big one.
That is a real big one.
You tell them.
That is real big. Cause what I run into a lot of times is that we have two people who are very independent, willing to get a team. You know, they want to keep their independence. That's been a big relationship blocker for me. Even some you don't like it on your team, but I guess we have to, you know, play together. So things I'm learning. It's really helped me out this last couple weeks. I'm telling you, somebody gonna get it to me soon.
I mean, teamwork is good.
Keep hitting inbox. I'll pick one lucky winner.
Oh, you I'll send some your way.
There you go. Keep.
Oh boy. That's why your signal going in and out tonight.
Yes. That's all those things.
Yes. That's the things going on.
All those things.
Wait till after the show.
That's why you didn't wear your muscle shirt today?
Oh.
It was crazy last week. It was crazy. Monsoon. I couldn't even.
And now you all covered up.
All covered up.
No, he had a workout video this week. He shared like a snippet.
Yeah. Well, I want you guys to like me more than this my body. More than a body.
Okay. That's a good one.
You don't want us to be like your client from a couple years ago, and she was like, "I had enough of this workout. I'm leaving."
Oh wait, was that the one?
That's the one you told me about. She walked out in the middle of the class. She was like, "It's enough of this going on."
I know what she was thinking. She said, "This mofo."
Nothing left. Goodbye.
So, Doc,
It was funny.
I didn't get a chance to count how many episodes we started, but it was like July, maybe July, somewhere around there that we started the Sip and Chat, and we've been pretty consistent every Friday. And we've gotten our crew with us now, our panel that's like rocking it out on Friday nights with us.
Got a good crew.
Yes, a good crew. We got our insiders.
Oh, but you forgot the swerve. You forgot the...
How do we want to close out the segment? This is our last segment of 2020. We return on Friday, January the 8th. We welcome anybody sending in any topics, even though I've seen in the last couple of days some topics being dropped, of course, by Daryl. I say that with love. It's been by a couple people. Doc has had some. We've had some topics that's been dropped. We welcome you guys sending anything in, but and we've covered a lot of things that we probably will end up revisiting. Some of the ones that Doc and I did solo with the panel in the start of the year. But how about we want to close out being ready for relationships as we go into 2021?
21. Shoot.
I think I would just tell people to reflect on themselves, really try to get themselves together as much as possible. That baggage.
Hello, Verizon. Hello, Verizon.
For me, I think I would say, hope everyone can hear. I would say I just think that people just need to really work on themselves and try to get rid of some of their baggage, get help for their baggage before they move on to another relationship. You really have to work on yourself and be ready before you enter into a new relationship. That's what I tell people to do.
And after you work on yourself, don't rush your stages. Just take your time. There's no timeline. There's no, expiration date on what stage, when it should begin or when it should end. Just focus on day by day, just getting to know that person as much as you can before. I don't know. I don't even know if I would even follow a guideline of stages.
Yeah, just be fluid.
Right. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Just try to hit all the stages.
What?
Camp, what you got?
Okay, so remember we had the conversation. So I kept thinking about it, how what April and Daryl said about really taking the time and get to know yourself. All I kept thinking was trim the fat and blow baloney. So cutting down. Where it should be.
I forgot. I was like, what conversation we had? Lord.
It's a Southern saying. Trim the things that you don't need in your life, that you know that's not giving you any good energy, and really focus on the good energy and building yourself back up.
I like that.
And just leave it where it's at. That's the blow baloney part. Just leave the fat where it's at because you don't need it. Trim the fat.
Trim the fat and blow the baloney.
No, you trim the fat and blow baloney, not blow the baloney.
Oh.
Blow baloney.
Oh, my bad.
All the fun.
Blow baloney. Okay.
Baloney having all the fun I see.
Shut up, Daryl.
But really, take care of yourself.
Right.
Know you before you jump into something.
Yes. Yes.
That's key.
And your break doesn't necessarily have a certain time frame.
No.
It could be a month, 6 months, a couple years. It's no cookie cutter time frame. Everybody heals differently.
Yeah. It could be on the weekend.
Yep. That's right.
Want to work
weekend.
I'm saying, if you working during the week, you might not always be on working on you. So when you have downtime on the weekends or go to your corner, your prayer room, whatever you have to do, and work on you.
Yeah. That loneliness, force you into or speed up the steps that you need to help yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's you get home. I'm good. It's been 2 weeks. I'm good.
Or other people's relationship status making you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And remember that if you're not healthy, you can't have a healthy relationship. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
That is the bottom line. And your relationship is between you and whoever your partner is. Nobody else necessarily is going to understand the scripts that you and your partner have come up with, quite honestly. And so they'd be like, you doing what?
There's no set timetable.
Right.
But people have set timetables and they set themselves up. Because your relationship is not the next relationship. So.
Right.
Yes, Trisha, healthy and whole. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. can't give what you don't have.
Right. If you only got half, then you only bringing half. And then just think about it. If you only got half, you only probably bringing a quarter of that half because you can't give all of that to somebody because you still need to make sure that your glass is half full.
You can't miss what you never had.
Exactly. Exactly. Somebody cooking something in the background?
That's what it sounded like.
I hear it.
That's like we had the stirring pot at the time, right?
Wow.
You like, wow, because we all sitting where we sitting. I don't know what it is. Alrighty, so yeah, I don't know what that is.
A little frozen.
Where your hands at, there?
That was supposed to be for backstage. Let's see those muscles. Which one is bigger than the other?
All right, so apparently
Oh gosh. Oh man.
Trisha, we're gonna miss you too.
Yes.
So we're gonna definitely have to set up set up the reminders or whatever.
That was Kim.
That was Kim for her background.
Where's her hands?
Right. Oh.
Sometimes you can't wait.
Oh my goodness. Again, if you guys want to catch any of the shows that we've done before, they are all cataloged on the YouTube channel of Butterfly Love LLC. Because Facebook does whatever they do with moving stuff around. It is in the group, but Facebook does whatever they do with moving stuff around. It's on the YouTube channel. What else I want to say? We'll probably try to post some of them though. I'll probably try to go grab some and post them, throughout the time that we are away. But it's only 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's only
And
2 weeks.
if you want to post a question on relationship flow, we will respond.
Yeah, we'll be there for sure.
We'll be there.
So you just gotta be in the group.
Yeah. I answer everything. I respond to everything.
You do?
He does.
He does.
Multiple times.
Yes.
I keep going.
I'm like, I can go on vacation now. Jeez. It's like, I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, so I guess there's nothing else to say, right?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, however it is that you celebrate. Yes. All right. Peace out.
Much love.
Much love. Wait, I guess I gotta toast my glass. Toast my glass.
Mine is empty.
And stay safe. Wear your mask if you gotta wear your mask. If you hanging out with them COVID cousins.
And come on the panel if you get the vaccine. I want to see what you look like.
Vaccine on next time. Don't sign on.
All right. I'm logging off now because y'all